everyone. Ness here, Massachusetts West Region Self-Advocacy Coordinator, bringing you my weekly human rights talk. This week, my topic is your right to privacy. In the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights, the right to privacy is mentioned in Article 12, which says, word for word, no one should be subjected to arbitrary interference with their privacy, family, home, or correspondence. Interference with privacy means things like going into your private space, watching you do private things, listening to your private telephone calls, or getting private information about you without asking you first. Arbitrary means without a good reason. So putting those things together, they're saying that you have a human right to have your private belongings, private conversations, private time be private unless there's a very good reason to enter that privacy. One reason that you might think is a good reason is that it could be okay for staff to come into the bathroom with you, even though the bathroom is usually a private place, if you need help using the toilet or keeping your body clean. But even if you do need help, it's important that the people helping you with private things are people you're comfortable with. So human rights and legal rights can sometimes be a little bit different from each other. In the United States, there are a lot of different laws that talk about privacy. Some of them protect your right to have privacy in certain situations, and some of them limit the situations in which you can expect privacy. I'm only going to talk about one of those laws today, which is the Fourth Amendment to our Constitution, part of our Bill of Rights, which says that no one's property should be searched without a warrant and probable cause. This means that the police can't come into your home and look through your things without your permission unless they get a warrant signed by a judge saying that they have good reason to believe that they would find evidence of a crime in your house. They can also enter your home without a warrant if they have good reason to believe that there's an immediate threat, like if they hear gunshots. The Supreme Court has actually interpreted this amendment to the Constitution to extend beyond just these circumstances where the police might be searching your home or your belongings. And now they think that it applies to privacy in other situations as well. One example of another situation in which the Fourth Amendment has been used to protect your right to privacy is in the famous Supreme Court decision of Roe versus Wade, in which the Supreme Court said that the government can't interfere with a person's private medical decisions, including the decision to have an abortion. In Massachusetts, the DDS Regulations, DDS is the Department of Developmental Services, where many people with intellectual and developmental disabilities get housing support, job support, daily living support, things like that. So the DDS regulations also protect your right to privacy. One of the things that the DDS regulation says is that services and supports are to be provided in a manner that promotes privacy, including the opportunity wherever possible to be provided with clearly defined private living, sleeping, and personal care spaces. The regulations also say that individuals served by DDS have the right to communicate, including the opportunity to make and receive confidential communications. This means that if you receive DDS services, you have the right to have spaces where you can take private alone time, for instance, by having your own bedroom, and the right to have private conversations, for instance, by not having your phone calls listened in on or your private emails read. Remember that these are the Massachusetts regulations, so if you get services in another state, the laws and regulations there might be slightly different. Before I wrap up, I want to talk about why I felt it was important to draw attention to our rights to privacy right now. Many of us live with other people, And because of COVID, many of us are doing a lot of things inside our houses that we would normally do outside of the house, including things like going to the doctor. We would maybe normally go to doctor's offices, and now we're talking to our doctors on our computer screens, just like this, including talking to our friends, going on outings with our friends where we would be outside of our home. Maybe our staff or roommates wouldn't be there. A lot of things that we used to do, we're doing in really different ways now. And everyone being home a lot more can mean that it's a lot harder to get private, alone time or have these private conversations where you can really trust that you're not being listened in on. But you still have the right to have conversations that your roommates, family, or staff don't listen to. Like the regulations said that we just talked about, you have a right to have private, confidential communications. You have a right to have private space where you can keep your private belongings. This is really important because without the expectation that our phone calls, emails, and private spaces are private, it would be really a lot harder to feel comfortable doing things like venting frustrations about roommates and reporting abuses that may be happening in our homes. Since we have most of our conversations in the home now, I worry that if we don't all really remember our right to privacy and know what we can advocate for, that these situations that we might really want privacy for could start to become more limited or really disappear. So, if you have any questions about your right to privacy or questions about any other human rights, or if you need support, or if you just want to say hi, feel free to leave a comment here or message this page. And remember to check our page often, as I post human rights videos every Wednesday at 5:30, and our team posts new content 5 days a week. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.